Go ahead.
All right. So this is the Big and Small podcast, but it's not the Big and Small podcast. We're going to call it not Patriots Digest because we put in, we put in some reels and some clips for the Patriots Digest. They never got back to us. So fuck the Patriots Digest. This is not the Patriot Digest. These are going to be little quick hitters that we're doing. Give you some juicy info, stuff that you can chew on for the week, and then you can see us on the normal, full slated show. Probably a week from Thursday. So let's kick it off, boys. What do you got, Dougie?
So this is going to be a little bit of just a quick little recap of NFC, AFC championships. We'll start with the first game, Commanders at Eagles. The box score is tough. 55-23. I thought Washington was going to keep it close. I really did, and then in the fourth quarter they just kind of off. It was just too much to kind of overcome. Saquon Barkley is just unbelievable.
Cardinal rule number one: you cannot turn the ball over, especially on the road in the playoffs. That's cardinal rule number one. So, once that happened, ship was sailed.
Yep. All there is playoff football. It's football in general anyway. If you win the turnover battle, you win. Just like hockey special teams. But it was unfortunate that Washington gave a few freebies. But that offensive line for Philly is just, they're stacked. That's Barkley, Smith, A.J. Brown.
Dallas Goedert.
It's like, Gainwell's good. With by far the best offensive line in football. So that was a tough one for Washington to beat that club. They're good, but they battled a little bit.
They had a great year, and they're going to have a great quarterback, and they're going to be right back there next year. So, no, nothing lost there. I wouldn't be ashamed of anything if I was Washington. I'd be looking forward to the future.
I believe one of the snippets I saw is now Washington is probably the favorites to land T. Higgins.
If I was Higgins, I'd probably want to go there.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Right.
Yeah, to match him with McLaurin.
Yeah,
McLaurin's awesome.
I do think that was Zach Ertz's last game, probably.
Yeah, he had a good game too.
Great, he went 11 for 104.
Yeah, it was just too bad the turnovers because I think it would have been tighter, and then there was some interesting coaching decisions, but
4 turnovers. Jaden Daniels threw a pick, and they had 3 fumbles, lost all 3.
Yeah, recipe for disaster, Doug.
And it didn't help. First place from scrimmage, Saquon runs at 60 yards to the house for the Eagles.
Nope, did not. Bye. The better teams get the better teams in the Super Bowl. But Philadelphia, I think, is the most talented team in the league right now.
No, I agree. Like we knew it was going to be a tall task to take down the Eagles. It would have taken a subpar game from the Eagles and an extremely perfect game from Washington. Like I said, first half was good. It's just, like I said, the box score doesn't kind of dictate. They kind of just let the game get away from them in the second half there.
But like you said, Rick, Philly's the most talented team, but this is going to be a true test of the NFL in that does quarterback play determine the outcome in the Super Bowl? Because Philly clearly has. If Philly doesn't have any turnovers and they play their game and Kansas City still wins, then it's definitely quarterbacks rule. So I think it's going to be a good test.
So then we'll transition now to the later game.
Well, the only way Kansas City's winning that game is if Mahomes goes crazy, and to your point, Philly turns the ball over.
Right.
Jalen Hurts, he just has to be a game manager, and he's going to be 2 weeks healthier. He'll be 100% with his knee, and he's a weapon in himself. You kidding me? See his touchdown? Bye-bye. But Kansas City's got a really good defense. I just don't. No, we'll get into that game because I think how bad the Bills will get into it, and they'll get into why I'm predicting Philly.
Go ahead.
Yes, yeah. So like Rick said, we'll transition now to the later game. Buffalo at Kansas City, final score 32-29. We'll talk about the box score and different stuff, and then we'll get into kind of the big headline stuff.
Well,
Buffalo ran the ball down their throats, and Buffalo's not a like top tier rushing team. They rushed for 147 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, why was Cook out of the game at the end?
It was ridiculous.
I have no idea.
That coaching staff, if you switch, we talked about this. You weren't with us, Doug, but we were talking to the game. If you switch coaching staffs in that game, Buffalo wins by 2 touchdowns. Guaranteed. That was the worst coaching performance I've ever seen. Ever. Cook out of the game. They stopped handing the ball off. Freaking stupid run play after run play with Allen. You didn't need to do that. You didn't need it. Just absolutely unfortunate. Unfortunate how bad the coaching was in that game. Really bad.
I agree
about the referees, but there was obviously some questions.
Well, we will be doing some complaining about them, Coach. Don't you worry. I have.
Okay, all right, that's fine. But what I want to point out is Kansas City did put 32 points on the board, and they did stop Buffalo. Supposedly stop Buffalo when they had to. I mean, it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, why not get a yard? Like I heard John Gruden talking about it. He's like, get me a yard in 2 plays. Get me a no doubt yard, and they didn't do it.
Yeah, but it was a 2 yards to go plus almost. It looked like they called the yard, the first one, and you got Allen. They weren't getting there. It's just he's got way too many skills to have to worry about doing that, and just go. Then they didn't kick the extra points, which was stupid. And their defense, Buffalo's defense stinks. I mean, so like I say, don't get me wrong. I mean, Mahomes in Kansas City is a hell of a football team, but they get freaking Joe Tooney playing left tackle. I mean, Joe Tooney's 100, and he's a guard, and he's playing serviceable. But that Buffalo defense is terrible. They got exposed. But the coaching really, if you manage that game properly and came in a much more creative, innovative in what you were doing, stuck to Cook and all that stuff with that, they score a lot. They had that game. They had that game in hand. They choked it.
Buffalo actually got away with a lot too. Josh Allen had 3 fumbles. Granted, he recovered all 3, but he still fumbled 3 times.
Yeah, well, especially at the beginning, you handed him the ball right away. Jittery. They came out jittery.
You could have been picked easily in the first couple throws.
Should have been.
And then even the play calling at the end, granted, Kincaid could have caught that ball, but
should have.
It was a prayer.
But it was a big adjustment. You shouldn't have been in that situation when you have a Josh Allen. There's no way you should be in that situation. You get counter boot, you get all kinds of stuff you can run with him that they didn't run at all. I don't think they ran one screen that I can remember.
No.
They ran a couple wheel routes, not one screen. And like I said, if you switch coaching staffs, Buffalo's playing on a week from Sunday.
Love it. Oh. Dougie, what's the referee call? Go ahead.
So here's my thing. So now it's really gaining momentum. This is like, it's the headline of both games. And it's not only just the Chiefs game. There was a lot of controversy in that Eagles Commanders game too. Going back to it, there should have been AJ Brown was getting in like Lattimore's face. He threw the first punch and then Lattimore gets flagged. I figured it should have been offsetting.
Yeah.
1,000%. That was the worst call. And it started. They called it on the headbutt too.
Right.
The one before the headbutt that, Kelsey instigated that whole thing on the headbutt.
Right. And then they called it on. Oh, Lattimore. No, I'm not talking about the
blocking.
No, the Eagles game.
Yeah.
No.
What are you talking about Lattimore in the Eagles game?
The first game.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
AJ Brown and Lattimore was going at it kind of like with everybody. But AJ Brown kind of, threw a punch and then Lattimore got flagged. And then I figured it should have been offsetting.
Right.
Oh, at the goal line.
Yeah.
At the goal line when they were.
Yeah. And then AJ Brown was John. And then there's they flagged him. Like I said, at the very least, it should have been offsetting. Granted, it didn't really have detriment, but still, call and clean game. When it goes to the Chiefs-Bills game, that Xavier Worthy catch was not a catch.
I don't know what that was.
At the very, I figured it you can't tell. It should have been incomplete. Nobody really had what's the word I'm looking? Possession. Nobody really had possession. Should have just been incomplete. But instead you get it to Xavier Worthy on the fucking 12-yard line.
It can't be incomplete unless the ball hit the ground.
It never hit the ground.
No, it didn't.
No,
it was debatable. You could argue, but it didn't.
It did not hit the ground. No, you're right. I mean, I thought maybe the defensive guy had control of it as he was going to the ground, and then I don't know what happened. I couldn't tell who had it.
So the whole argument in that whole thing was, did the defensive guy had the ball first? Was he down by contact before him and Worthy kind of battled for the ball?
I thought he was.
That was what we said. I agree with you. I agree.
Right, but then in the video evidence is inconclusive, so that it just reverts back to whatever the play on the call on the field was anyway.
Right.
Yeah, well, it's like tie goes to the runner.
Yeah.
Typically in those balls, the offensive player gets it.
Correct. So,
that's a problem with the NFL. It's like no common sense, just pathetic.
So I think my biggest thing with all of it is the Chiefs are a good team. They're a great team. Mahomes is good. Mahomes is great. They don't need any help. But every single game they've played in this year has had controversy in it.
Yeah, it's amazing how many inch plays that are reviewable, and then a judge, and you can't really tell one way or the other. They always get the benefit of the doubt. But I don't understand why there's so many of those plays in these games. There was 4 or 5 plays like that this game, where you don't really have a conclusive outcome, but those situations usually go to the Chiefs.
Correct. And there was also the other one where it's the one I didn't even realize, but going into the 2-minute warning of the fourth quarter, did you see how there was a second difference from the play clock to the 2-minute clock? I didn't.
Why was that penalty?
Oh, I didn't. From what I saw in all the comments is that Tony Romo explained what it was, but I didn't hear the actual explanation. Did you guys?
No, but it was a 1-second difference and the play clock ran out.
Correct.
So it should have been a penalty.
A delayed game, yes.
It wasn't.
So I don't know if that's just I don't know what the term I'm looking for is.
It's fairly common.
Right.
My whole thing is, so you brought it yourself. What they did in that situation in the end with the controversial first down spot with Josh Allen.
Oh yeah,
it's ridiculous. They didn't need to do that again. They were almost
terrible
2 yards away on a tush push. He doesn't need that. He's a freaking freak. Get him on the perimeter. You're not touching him.
But I think he still got it regardless.
Well, but it's debatable, and you can't go by the line. And it shows you how comical it is. We've been saying this when we've talked about it for years. Why isn't there just basically technology, something within the ball that if it crosses the first down plane, just like Belichick was talking about for years, but at the goal line,
right?
That you should just boom, all of a sudden it goes and you have it. You have all the technology to do that stuff.
That's true.
But either way, it just aggravates me. You shouldn't be in that situation.
I agree.
Be. And then don't whine again. Don't whine about it. Going back even Kansas City with the D Ford when he was offside, the Patriots got lucky in that. The Patriots still had to get out. Freaking make a stop, you stiffs. Yeah. Shame on you. You can't just every bad play go, oh, boy, I'm going to turtle up. The biggest play that bothered me in that game, though, was the same thing. Was in the end zone. Kelsey was chirping away. He ended up, I forget the guy's name, came over, headbutted somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Then there were punches thrown. They were going back. Helmet was taken off, and they called it strictly on.
Yeah.
Strictly
on that was the Mahomes rushing touchdown, right?
Strictly on the Bills. Yeah. And I was like, what are we doing? It's a simple, this is a layup match. It's like in the NHL. You're in a big game. Just call the match. Match. Move on. That's fine. But
so then the last play for the Bills, I don't know if you guys saw this. So they were doing that, right? He was scrambling. He threw it up. There was a flag thrown. And then when Kincaid didn't catch it, they picked the flag up.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually caught it on the broadcast. They put flag up. And I think Nance said flag on the field. And then Romo was talking. And then all of a sudden Nance said, oh, they picked it up.
Yeah, they didn't give there's no penalty, blah, blah, blah. They just picked it up right in the pocket.
The only thing I could think of, it was on Buffalo, and they just were like, well, Doesn't matter. He dropped it.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if he dropped it anyway. If it's a penalty, it's still a penalty. You still got to call the clean game, which is what Rick is saying. Just call the match.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you.
I just a bit fascinating. We went over this before, and I don't have all the facts in front of me, but we went back to some Super Bowls, and this has nothing to do with the Patriots, but I forget who they're playing. I am just, there is no way a team with a quarterback like Mahomes, who runs all over the place, dances all over the place, he's unbelievable, does not have more offensive holding calls. How many offensive holding calls were in that game, Doug? You might have it in front of you.
I don't think none of the Chiefs.
None on the Chiefs. I mean, that is, we were talking about this, Bri, right? And I wasn't really looking it up, but I was saying, when we were all watching the game, that is physically impossible.
Right.
It's physically impossible. You cannot play a professional football game and then never be an offensive holding call.
When the quarterback's reversing field and stuff, trying to get away.
Any time. It could be me taking a knee. Someone's going to hold. But the fact of the matter is, I think it was 2 consecutive Super Bowls they played in. They did not have an offensive holding call. Not one. I mean, that is, to me, that's what people should be focusing on. Because you cannot, if the refs decide we're not calling any flags all game, fine.
Right.
But you cannot play a pro football game with the speed on defense and what they run for offenses without there ever being a holding call. That's what people should be talking about. Don't talk about the ticky-tack, da-da-da-da-da. You need to you got to look at the facts of what the margin of penalties has been. And I'm not a Kansas City hater. You guys know I love them. Lisa wants to kill them, but the point is, look at those facts. If you go back and take some time and really look at it, it is staggering what their playoff penalties have been in their run. It's unbelievable. Their last penalty might be D Ford.
Maybe.
But on the offensive line play, they're not that good. Tooney's playing tackle. He was holding half the goddamn game. And it's just like, and I love Tooney, but he's not a tackle. He's getting praised for it. But I think maybe did he have one hold? No, none, Doug?
I don't think he had it.
From what I can see,
he had a hold.
They had a defensive holding. They had a DPI, another DPI. They had a defensive offsides. They had a false start, and they had an illegal use of hands. No holding.
Yeah. It's impossible.
There was no holding calls on Buffalo either. Illegal formation, defensive offsides, face mask, illegal formation, unnecessary roughness, DPI, and a face mask.
Yeah, it's impossible.
So
it tells you whoever the guy, the white hat is, just decide I'm not calling holding today.
Right.
And that's just, they don't have rules. Don't have rules.
So going to it as of right now, Chiefs are favored -1.5.
Yeah, and if you flip quarterbacks, they'd be favored by 10.5.
The Eagles just have so much more talent on the offensive side of the ball.
But that's how much Mahomes impacts things. They give him the edge. Neutral field, they give him the edge. So, I don't know. Vegas knows.
Vegas over under 49.5.
I like it. I think I go over. I think I go over.
Again, the coaching factor for me is the issue. That's it. But I'm worried about what's his name? Sirianni? Sirianni throwing up on himself. But hey, he's done a good job. He overcame some stuff. He's right there. Like I said,
second Super Bowl.
If they don't turn the football over, they're going to win.
I hope you're right. I think you will. I think you are right. I mean, they're just too talented. They don't have a lot of holes on that team.
No,
you got pretty much a Hall of Fame tight end. You got a probably Hall of Fame running back, and then you got 2 very good wide receivers
and one hell of an offensive line.
Yes.
But we want Tennessee to lose because that'll be a better chance. I mean, Philly to lose, better chance that Vrabel can get A.J. Brown in New England.
Yeah, that'd be tough to win the Super Bowl then leave, right?
Yeah, you never know. Maybe he'll be happy and go. But we need. I want A.J. Brown bad in New England.
That'd be nice, right?
How about the biggest gaffe ever? You see that? You see the Mays go to the Pro Bowl? I mean, why do they even have that game?
Yeah, so he was like an alternate, right?
I think he had one win. How many wins did Drake May have, the quarterback?
Two,
maybe.
You can't count the last one. That was Milton. So they had four wins.
No, you're right. I think he only had one.
One win, I think.
Yeah, but still had one.
He's in the Pro Bowl. I mean, what a joke.
let's see. They beat the Bengals. He didn't play. Two. He beat the Jets and the Bears, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8th game and the 10th game. So that would have been him.
Okay, so he got 2 wins.
2 wins and a Pro Bowler, baby. Put that on your resume.
And my other thing, like we were talking about watching the game, is the thing that's aggravating. The coach was bringing this up. Look at the average age in speed and physical presence of the NFL referees. I mean, are you kidding me? It might as well be an old age home. They went over, loaded up a bus, threw him in a uni, and said, start running around the field at 1 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Average age is 53.
It's really, really bad. I mean, bad. You watch college refs, they're 10 times overall better. And something needs to be done about it. They need to decide they're going to spend some money or they're going to go to this NFL assist all the time and figure it out where you can go after everything's reviewable in general. Or you get to, I think you were saying, Coach, or you get like, four challenge flags a half, something like that. And that's it.
You got to be able to challenge penalty.
I
agree. Everything.
You got to be able to challenge,
especially.
But I don't think everything should be challenged. But I think save them. 4.5. Like Missoula choked it last night. It's a terrible decision. Basically cost them the game.
I think the only problem you're going to have if you run into that is that they'll just be like, oh, it's inconclusive. But they'll just go to the call on the field.
Could be.
Well, do they have a central thing like hockey going to Toronto? Do they have that? Do they go to New York?
Well, I don't know where I don't know where NFL Assist sits. Yeah. But I thought they were in the building.
Oh.
But
each individual game has its own NFL assist.
I don't know that I don't know about that. Maybe it's not that way. Maybe they do it like the NHL, and that's. But NFL assist, I mean, that's so random. I mean, it's like
I don't know. So another thing I actually thought about was the spots of the balls, and here's Josh Allen, all this. When was the last time you saw the chain game actually come out on the field?
That's what was outrageous.
Yeah. Right.
You got these 3 guys just standing on the side of the field, literally doing nothing.
Yeah, why didn't they measure that? I don't get it. Okay.
Here's a spot. All right, we're gonna measure.
Show what you got to do.
Like, nope, you're short. Sorry, see you later. Take a hike.
Yeah, crazy.
It's because the NFL's cheap, the owners are cheap, and they could do it better than this. But either way, it's I just get frustrated that there's certain plays just can really, and it's always been that way. But if you're going to have it, and you're going to have NFL assist, and it's like, what are we doing? Like, either do it or don't. I'd rather have there be no replay. Every touchdown's replayed. Have none. We'll go like the old school, and it's a tough break, buddy. You didn't get the call. That's the way it goes. But if you're going to try and have every touchdown, every score change, you're going to have NFL assist, then you got to go all in. It's one or the other.
I agree. They have to be. Because I mean, even just these past couple of days, it's been all over social media. All the talking heads are talking about everything with the refereeing. Like it has to come up in some type of discussion. I'm assuming in between the league and the owners.
1,000%. But people just continue to watch and bet, and they keep printing money.
Yep.
All right, Dougie. So you want to wrap it up? Get this little quick hitter done.
Yep, absolutely. At the 25-minute mark.
All right, so let's wrap it up. So, not Patriots Digest. You heard it here. Probably a little twist of what you heard on the radio. You didn't hear all the stuff that they talking about refs and everything else. You're not going to hear that. You're going to hear actual, factual analysis.
Well, I spoke about the refs.
No, I know, but I mean, it wasn't like a 2-hour segment on the refs. It was, the quick hitter, and we talked about, what they should be doing as opposed to what they did. So
yeah, no, like I said, it's just like the Chiefs are a great football team. Like they don't need help from the ref. Just call fair games.
Yeah. All right, boys. So we'll schedule the. We'll probably.
What are your predictions before you gonna give one now?
Well, we're gonna do at least another one of these before the thing.
Oh, that's true. All right.
Yeah, another one of these, and I still don't know that they're all talking about it on sports talk radio, all this other bullshit. Why the fuck is 98.5 going to New Orleans? You have no business going there.
I know. I was thinking about that. I heard that today. Like they go every year.
Yeah, you have no business going there.
Yeah.
Hang out on Radio Row and talk to everybody. Why? The organization stinks now. Stay home.
They need content, Dougie. They need guests.
Right. They just grab this.
All you hear about this stuff. Hey, buddy, you going to New Orleans? You going to New Orleans? All right, cool. We're going to go to the steakhouse down there. We're going to go here. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
I gotta start listening to more podcasts because the sports talk radio is just.
Well, if they were smart, they'd fly in the Big and Small podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah, that of the not.
I have a lot more because I was listening to Felger and them talking about and Maz and who was it, Murray?
About
how they went down there. You have all the times they just got too banged up, and Maz was throwing out before an All-Star game.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Felger like. Yeah, it doesn't happen to Big and Small podcast. Little boys down there. Little
rally.
We'd be rocking with Gronk.
Whatever you want.
There's no throwing up.
Whatever you want. I guarantee we'd have better ratings too.
100%.
All right, boys. Wrap it up, Coach.
All right, so we'll get it together next week. Our viewers, look for this on a weekly basis. Little quick hitter. We're going to give you some knowledge you didn't have before. All right, boys. I'd say get them up, but I don't have anything. So.
Oh, geez.
Have a good week. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
See you guys. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.